We now have our final speaker of the day, and this young lady has joined me in bank, and she has also joined me in the supplements, and she is an amazing human being. And I wanted you to hear from her because she's a coach and she's a speaker, and she is, I don't, there's too many things. We didn't get a bio because she will introduce herself. She will tell you a wonderful story about, I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to stay quiet. I was going to mention, how you got out of, what, but I'm going to let you do the whole thing. So I'm now going to stay quiet for a change. And I present to you my lovely, beautiful friend and colleague, Nikki Cruz.
Thank you so much, Mary. And thank you for having me on your summit. As you say, I'm kind of becoming a regular, and it is an absolute honor and privilege because when you get to hear some of the other speakers on here, you become so empowered. And my hope is that I have things to say that you will open your ears to and become empowered and inspired with. And it's very interesting because when Mary Ann told me the name of this summit, I laughed like anything. You know why? Because 3-4 months ago, a while back, I would have gone, oh, no, that's so new age. That's terrible. Fortunately, my mind has become opened, and some of the things we're going to talk about is actually going to address that. Because when you say holistic, to a lot of people in the Christian environment, and I'm a faith-based coach, and we think of Eastern religion and Eastern medical practices, and you know that that is not what it means. And when we talk about holistic anything, it's talking about it as a whole. And some of you may not follow scripture, but as I said the other day, it's got some really cool guidance in there. And it actually says about this, just going before God and building up body, mind, and spirit. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. Doesn't that speak of holistic to you? And the harmony is balancing that. But you know what? I wasn't always this open-minded. And I'm still on that journey, like everybody is, to reach that balance. Some of you don't know me yet. My name is Nikki Cruz. I'm an international TEDx speaker, an author, a faith-based coach, helping female entrepreneurs build more of God into their business. Not from the strategy side. You'll hear why I'm still learning a lot of that, but from the aspect of mindset, faith, and self-worth. And I got to this point because I was told I would never walk again. I had been in a wheelchair for 11 years. I had been strapped into a wheelchair because I had such bad seizure-like spasms that I couldn't feed myself, I couldn't dress myself, couldn't brush my hair. Some people say that I tried and that's what happened. I kind of beat my brains in. However, I was so positive that I was going to be healed. I was going to get up and walk. And then my neurologist said, you will never walk again. Have you ever been told you will never, you can never, you won't ever? Well, I think we've all heard those words somewhere. But Oric said in his talk earlier, and if you missed it, I encourage you to go back and watch it. We have to take authority. We have to decide what our future is going to be. And in that moment that I heard those words, I was angry. I was really angry with God and threw my little temper tantrum with God. And fortunately, not too much longer later, I decided I was tired of being miserable. And a phrase I've heard a number of times today. Laurie said it this morning. Michelle said it a moment ago. I decided to be the best version of myself, whether I was in a wheelchair or whether I was walking. I had to have a different attitude. And I had to not be defined by either my circumstances or the labels of the world. Now, the world is going to put labels out there. Are we going to let them stick to us? So I was in that place. I had been so adamant that everything was going to go my way and in the way I expected it to go. And when it didn't, I was devastated. But you know what? In each of us, there is a resilience. And when we get to choose to step beyond those circumstances, that resilience begins to burn up. And I miraculously got up and walked without even realizing it. Yes, you heard me. After 11 years strapped into a wheelchair, I got up and I walked. And I had decided I was going to be the best version of myself. What does that tell you? I decided I was going to be an extraordinary person. And each one of us has it inside us to be that. And Joe Navarro, who was an FBI agent profiling for more than 40 years, wrote a book that said, what makes someone extraordinary? And he pulled up 5 domains of exceptional people. And those domains are self-mastery, observation, communication, action, and psychological comfort, which you actually get from all the others. And we might think, oh, yes, we're great in the self-mastery. You're good at this, or you're good at that. Self-mastery isn't about being good at something. You have people who are absolutely skilled and talented in a certain sport, but until they put action together with discipline, together with effort, mentorship, and all the rest, they don't master the self-mastery. And we may think, oh, I observe. Right from kids, we are taught to look. We are not taught to observe. When you look at a bottle on the shelf, do you see the bottle? Or do you see the bottle in its surroundings? That's observation. Noticing more than just that one thing you're looking at. And we all think we're great at communication because we speak our own language. I am so excited that I've been introduced to Bank because it can elevate my communication and it can elevate my understanding of how and why others communicate in the way they do. The next one is action. All of those first 3 are great, but until you take action, nothing's going to change. And it's only when you reach a level of incorporating those things into your life do you have that psychological comfort. Do you have the confidence and the knowledge that you can go further? So we get to look at what areas need attention, what knowledge or training or skills are going to help you pursue your goals, and what can I do to initiate change in my life? How can I better myself? And a lot of it comes from relationship, community, mentorship, but it also comes from reading, study, and commitment and a change in your mindset. So I got out of my wheelchair. I started walking. Did I have a holistic life? Absolutely not. I could walk. I still had to learn all the rest of the things about life. I had been totally isolated for 11 years. I had had no exposure to technology, to business, to groups of people, and now started that holistic journey of honoring God in my life by building those other areas. And Jose mentioned quite a few of them. And when we start to look at spiritual harmony, for me, that's aligning everything in my life with what God requires of me. But it begins with my relationship with God. You get to have a relationship on a spiritual level because we are made as spiritual beings to seek out what's going to feed our spirit. For me, that comes in prayer. That harmony comes from elevating my focus on negatives to the power of God in me. Then we get to look at the physical harmony. Well, took me a bit of a journey. I now found candies. If you want to know anything about candies, you can contact Marianne. You can contact me. You know, candies, I love candies. Yes, you might like candies. I do too, but these are special candies. And here we are creating even more harmony because these candies are made from DNA, from plants and spices. What is this about holistic that frightens people off? The fact that people think it's Eastern and foreign religions. No, it's not. It's about balancing and looking at the whole. In terms of things like candies and medication, it's looking at the whole person, emotion, body, spirit, mind. Well, do you really want to be putting all that gunk in your body? Now, I have had medical issues all my life. I do still take medication, but let me tell you, these candies have given me a hope, and I've seen a reduction in what I've been taking, and I've seen better results. And let me tell you, they're far more fun to take. So when we are looking for harmony, we had first the spiritual harmony, then the physical harmony. And because I am who I am, I often say the Jesus freak, I want to remind you that 1 Corinthians 6:19 talks about your body being God's temple. Now, I fall far short. I'm not the healthiest eater, hence the need for even more candies. And maintaining that physical health is so important. The next one is your emotional harmony. I believe emotional harmony comes when you take the time for self-care, when you take the time to actually take a breath and know who you are, how you feel, address those emotions. And yes, we have a candy for that, not to address the emotions, but to help with the emotions. And, you know, as Christians, we're called to cast off our anxieties. I don't think that only applies to Christians or people really reading scripture, because stress and anxiety does so much damage all round to your relationships, to your business, to yourself, to your health. So we say we can manage our emotions by finding that peace, by giving ourselves personal space, personal emotional intelligence. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about EQ, that's emotional intelligence. So what does it actually mean? It is the ability to identify and to manage your own emotions. When you can manage yours, you do communicate better. And it's also about understanding others' emotions. And this also has a couple of different stages. Firstly, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness. Do you see how these awarenesses are all the parts of that emotional intelligence? I love this one, empathy. Not pity, empathy. And then relationship management. All of those are just one part of your emotions that create that balance that Jose was talking about. Your relational harmony, and here comes bank again. Can't you tell I'm passionate about these things? They have infiltrated every area of what I teach and what I coach, because I want people to have that harmony in a whole, not just in part. I can't teach about having faith in your business without helping people build up the rest of their lives. So with our relational harmony, from a holistic point of view, we're called to love other people as ourselves. It's Mark 12:31, and to live in peace with everybody. And that's Romans 12:18. See, the Bible's got some cool guidance and it applies to everybody. But where does the practical application come in? You can know all of this up here, but if you don't put it into action, like that self-mastery says, you can't have the holistic harmony. You've just got some intellect going on. You don't have a balance, as Jose said, in the wheel. It involves setting a time aside for spiritual growth, taking care of your body, taking care of your emotions. And for me, that's in the light of what I believe is God's truth, and nurturing healthy relationships. And you may go through tough times. Believe me, those 11 years in the wheelchair weren't the toughest time. It was those 3 months when I was so angry and allowed myself to be defeated by my circumstance. But you know what I got out of that? I learned that those don't have to define me, and that it's my choice whether they define me or not. And I began to see what I needed, where the gaps were. I found people to come into my life and speak into me, spiritual, physical, in every way. Are you connecting in communities and with people who are like-minded? Nobody is ever going to have the same vision as you. Because, as I say, when God gave you that vision, it wasn't a conference call, it was between you and him. So they do not know your vision. But you can have people who will support you in your vision. And I think it was Oric who said, not everybody will, because they don't think like you. So be careful who you are listening to. Make sure your environment is also holistic, that balance creates the harmony between the people you're hanging around and the people who are going to support you and your beliefs. And that changes. The people I hang around and learn from now are very different to the people I hang around and learn from 2 years ago, when I first started coaching, when I first started finding out more. I mean, if somebody said the word holistic or chakra, I would run a mile. Now they say it all the time because I've opened my intelligence with my curiosity to find out what those things actually mean, instead of just being clouded by the beliefs that were thrust onto me. And I think it's Steve Harvey Eckert in Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset says, don't believe anything I say. In fact, don't believe anything you say. Question what is the basis of your beliefs, because so many of those beliefs come from culture, tradition, or even just the physical environment and things that happen. Are they true? Are how you're thinking about yourself and treating yourself, what are those beliefs based on? Question them. Ask, are they true? For me, I like to look at, do they align with scripture? And one of the greatest things that I've experienced is that people who choose to overcome adversity have so much to bring the world, to share from their message and their story. And I said earlier, I was a best-selling author. Well, I am. It's a very short story in a journal called The Gifts of Pain. And this is a journal of 31 different authors who have overcome adversity. Each one is a $300. It is a $300 story on each page, but a 300-word story on each page, and then a place for reflection. Because as Jose was emphasizing earlier, if we don't reflect, if we don't choose to change, we aren't going to be able to build up in any one of those areas. So when you're going through struggles, when you have pain, remember, it is actually a gift. And if any of you are interested in buying this book, just message me. I'll drop a link. In fact, maybe I'll drop a link in the chat here as well. And it is a compilation from 31 authors by a woman who has gone through so much pain and turned it into a gift for the world to learn to overcome adversity. Putting all of that together, I hope you took notes because that was a lot of information I threw at you. Otherwise, watch the replay. And again, Marianne, thank you so much for the opportunity to share. Your summits are always amazing. And that's what I got.
Thank you so much for gracing my stages. My summits are awesome because of people like you who are amazing speakers with absolutely amazing stories. I mean, honestly, over the years, I have met so many people. I could probably have a summit every day and you would learn so much. And these are such intelligent and just so grounded people now that have gone through, in some cases, hell and back. You've heard some of the stories. A lot of you have heard my story. I don't talk a lot on my summits because I'm here mostly for the other people that are here, my guests. And also, every so often someone doesn't show up or they're late. So I come in with a snippet of my story. So, so I don't already want to have a whole thing because then I'm like, oh yeah, what am I going to, well, that's not true. I could talk about anything you want all day long. So I don't think I would be speechless. That's not really one of my problems. So I do want to thank Nikki for coming here and sharing her story. What an amazing story, right? I mean, all day today, that's all we heard were amazing stories and people sharing things that they usually charge money for. And I'll have you know that in one way or another, the speakers have paid to be here. So they have paid to educate you, to inspire you, to motivate you. So we hope you have a chance to watch the replay because it's hardly anyone who has the time from 9 to 3 to sit and watch. Although today I did start at 9:20 because isn't it fun when, things don't go the way you'd like them to? Couldn't get on Facebook for a live and my first speaker's trying to get in and I'm like, I can't, I don't know what to do. Hang on, give me a minute. And then I'm like, okay, I need to compose myself or this is never going to happen. So you know what? You got to be ready for that too, right? And you can't lose your mind over that. Things are going to happen. That's the world of virtuality right now, or I probably didn't say that right, but the virtual world is going to have its challenges. And if you do an event in person, that's going to have its challenges. Last time I had the pleasure of having a fire alarm in the last 45 minutes before I finished. And I was lucky enough, I had two of my colleagues here. We're all very good friends. We're all professional speakers. So they just basically took over for me. And while I took myself and my dog downstairs, came back out upstairs until everything was done. And then we kind of closed off everything and it was just wonderful. Stuff happens, you get ready for it.
And I want to add, when you watch these summits and you resonate or you learning anything from any one of these people, that's the beauty of the virtual world. Take advantage of it. Go and follow those people. Because when you begin to surround yourself with a new group of people, you begin to have a new attitude. And there's always a new level up. And that's something I've found. I mean, I'm new. I only walked out of my wheelchair 3 years ago, and I literally walked out of it without realizing.
Wow.
In 3 years, I've had to learn everything from scratch. And I don't learn it on my own. I learn it through the people I hang around with. And you get to hang around with people you want to be like. Have a vision of who you want to be, and then start building that up in yourself.
And start calling it in.
Yep. Yep.
By stating it out loud, you're just calling it in. And all of a sudden people start showing up and you're like, wow, you're exactly who I needed to talk to. You're exactly who I've asked for. You're exactly this, you're exactly that. And just when you think your life sucked And, I went through divorce, bankruptcy, closing down business. My mom passed away, who was my most important person in my life, I would say probably ever. All that happened within a year and maybe a bit. That's a short amount of time to go through 4 of life's big issues, things that will shift your life into a whole different dimension. And I had all 4 of them hit me in the same year. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot. However, at no point in time was I ever in a wheelchair. So you know what? While this was shitty and sucked, this is worse. You know what I mean? Like it's perspective. And also, we're here to help inspire everyone. This is the whole purpose
Yes.
of me doing Empowered Talks. That's why I offer it up to the public for free, because I want as much of the public to see. So, while I can't monitor and I can't grasp your email and I can't do this, and I don't know how many people exactly see it, that's not really what I'm after. I'm not really doing this for the numbers. I'm doing it for the inspiration. And it's up in places where you can access this anytime. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to this whole thing today, please feel free to revisit. If you have other people who could use the inspiration, please share it with them. That's why I make it public. I make it shareable, or well, it's supposed to be shareable. Hopefully it
Yes, it
works.
is. It
Okay.
is.
Somebody had a hard time trying to share it earlier, so I was like, yeah, I'm not taking enough to.
Well, you've just given me another little slogan.
What?
Sometimes life sucks, so you may as well make it a candy.
There you go. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, we're both pretty passionate about these. I mean, these have done wonders for me mostly because it's helping me age backwards, because menopause really, really, really badly sucks. And this has made menopause a lot easier to handle. And not just menopause, but other things of, being 62. I'm like 62. I'm happy. I'm not on any medication at all. That's my doing, obviously. I have searched out, and I probably spend more money than I would otherwise, but I'm okay with that, because that's what money's for, right? To make your life better and easier. And so now that we've been able to add the charity over, that is just an extra added bonus for me. I love that now we can help people in a whole other continent, and kids, and a whole community, and there's people doing all this really amazing stuff. I mean, there's so much goodness in this life. If you're having a crappy day, you need to listen to this. There is so much good being spread all over the world. Like, this is so amazing. And I love that I'm so blessed and surrounded by amazing people like Nikki. So on that note, I'm going to say my final thank yous. Nikki, did you want to say anything?
Just that this has been an amazing day. And just as Mary faced some adversity this morning, her resilience got her through it. Make sure you're balancing out, you're having that balance so your emotions don't throw off the practical. And just know that you are amazing and you are as empowered as you choose to be. So thank you, Marianne, for these talks, for this opportunity, and for all your encouragement and guidance to me.
Oh, you're beautiful. You're so beautiful. Thank you all so much. Everyone take a deep inhale and exhale. And I want to thank you all, and namaste, everyone. Have yourself a beautiful day. Thank you.